And welcome back to Cape Town. Of course, today is the day, SONA 2023, and the State of the Nation address being delivered by President Cyril Ramaphosa here later. So we're outside the Cape Town City Hall again, and of course joined now, as I promised earlier, by the Speaker of the National Assembly, Ms. Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula. And Madam Speaker, thanks so much for speaking to us this morning. And of course, again, this is now a parliamentary precinct as declared, because this will be the place where tonight SONA will be delivered once more. But just as far as the building reconstruction at the actual parliamentary premises is going, can you just give us an update on that?
Good morning, Sakina, and good morning to the listeners, and thank you very much for giving us an opportunity to talk to you this morning. I would say the process has begun, right? It's only started, I would say, around November, after the Minister of Finance, through the MTBPS, made an announcement that over a year period, we will be provided with an amount of 2 billion for the restoration, reconstruction or rejuvenation of Parliament. Now, what has happened is that we've been given an amount to use, which amount will be used for this year, some of which right now is used for the purposes of the State of the Nation address and for the budget next week. But we are hoping that in 24 months, according to the groups that have been discussing with us, that we will be able, at least we shall have built the structure of Parliament, and then whatever else which will be outstanding then will be the interior, that is the systems inside Parliament. So the 2 billion allocated is meant for us to do everything to ensure that really in 3 years' time that Parliament is back to where it should be, that the sittings by then will not be here. Of course, when you sit and listen, you think sometimes it may take about 5 years. Yes, but the point is, which is a positive note for me, is that work has begun. Just that allocation has given me hope that indeed the teams which are working together with the Secretary of Parliament, Mr. George, will soon be actually embarking on the actual building of Parliament. Right now, part of that allocation is also meant to assist members of Parliament. Remember, you still have plus minus 200 members who still do not have office space to work from, which sometimes gives people good reasons for them not to attend the physical sittings of Parliament. So once we secure that space using part of this money, which has been allocated for this year, we can at least be guaranteed that by April, a number of members will be operating now from their offices within the parliamentary precinct.
And the cost of all of this, as you said, part of that 2 billion rand that was allocated by the Minister of Finance would go towards the restoration of the parliamentary building, but also for some of these sittings. And at a time when South Africans are really cash-strapped and buckling under the high cost of living that's continually escalating, the question is, Madam Speaker, how much is today this year's sitting going to cost?
You know, there was a bit of a confusion about this 2 days ago. What we said is we have allocated 8 million, but allocation of 8 million for this event does not mean necessarily that you will spend 8 million. We may as well spend less than that, or perhaps even slightly more. But from the plans which I have seen from the Secretary of Parliament, there is an understanding that this is the total sum allocated for the event, but we may as well spend less than that.
And again, the justification for that, is this something that we still need to do on an annual basis as far as the pomp and ceremony goes? And I think especially because people are now feeling the burden because of the rising cost of living, there's questions all around, excuse me, about the expenditure on an event like this.
No, You know, this is something which we all need to correct, Sakina, and educate everybody. All countries, there is not a single country which is run, which has a state where you will not have an opportunity, which is a very rare occasion, where you have in the same room the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. It's the one occasion where you have that. It comes once a year. Now, this pomp and what, I've not seen it. The reality is that, Sakina, what you have is your ceremonial guard who must sing the anthem of the country at a ceremony such as this one. You have a red carpet which you must roll out for your executive of the country, for the head of state, which you must roll out for the head of the judiciary. So there is nothing pomp about this ceremony, because it's not like after the ceremony, then there is some big dinner, there is, a state banquet. We've stopped doing those things as part of cutting down the cost, these austerity measures which were introduced years ago. For now, this is what is deserving of the State of the Nation address. South Africans must please accept that a head of state once a year must come and address the nation, and the nation is addressed through Parliament. This is where President will outline the program of the country. This is where he will reflect on the previous commitments they made as government and how far they have gone in implementing those commitments. This is where he will talk about how government will be spending the money which has been allocated both last year and through the MTPPS, and now when Minister Kodongwane will be addressing us on the 22nd. So people will be able to relate to the monies which Kodongwane will allocate to what the President has outlined as his commitments, as his program. Remember, Sakina, whenever you are going to have a State of the Nation address, you will always have, firstly, a party lekgotla, where your government, the ruling party, takes decisions about what they see as priorities, because we have our fingers on the pulse. We have to be sure that we're moving in line with the thinking of the people of South Africa. Following that, you will have a lekgotla of government where then decisions are taken. And that then informs the speech and the program which is we are going to be listening to today from the President. So for me, absolutely, it's absolute. People need to understand there is not a single country that does not have an event of this magnitude. The fact that we are now spending the kind of money we are spending because we are here at the City Hall, I am sure, Sakina, if our parliament had not been bent down, we were not going to spend this kind of money now.
Well, that is the Speaker of the National Assembly, Ms. Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, speaking to us here about, of course, the preparations and the readiness to host this evening's State of the Nation address. And we are here in Cape Town, and we'll bring you more interviews and also more responses from those on the ground with us here this morning. For now, let's head you back to Leanne in studio for Headline News.